get started.
Dude, that scared me. Hi, my demons. So today I'm joined by Miss Sheila, aka Sister Dad over here. She's back in the studio. Say hi. 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 We have 3 cameras today.
Hi.
Let them know what you're wearing today. What's your costume?
I am a nun. I'm a sister. Obviously a bloody sister.
Yes.
I'm a demonic nun.
And I am a vampire because my fucking devil costume didn't work. Fucking Spirit Halloween is a bitch. And tomorrow I'm gonna go to them. Okay, so how have you been? I know October just started, but have you done any spooky shit lately? Have you conjured anything lately?
No, I have not. I think the spooky season just begun as of today. I kind of had like the Halloween blues. Like I really felt like Jack Skellington. I felt very jaded, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I want to do. But then about like a few days ago, I think like 3 days ago, me and Ingrid went to like Spirit Halloween, and we were looking like at all the stuff they had there. And then like our eyes really caught the nuns, and like I was like, you know what, like a demonic nun sounds kind of cool. So I was kind of like leaning towards there, and then you sent me the message like, hey, we're spooky season, we're gonna do a podcast, and I was like, yeah, you know what, if we're gonna dress up as like a demonic nun, just makes fucking sense.
Demons, yeah.
So like you helped me manifest what the hell I was gonna be for Halloween, because I was so like, I don't even know.
You surprised me. I was like, thank God she did better than me.
And you know, it's so weird. This is like my first time in years doing like a feminine character for Halloween, because like most of my Halloweens I have been male characters. I have not done a feminine character since like 2015.
Oh
2014.
shit, that's a long
Actually
time.
2014.
Yeah.
I was Vampira, and that's about it. I can't recall the last time I was a feminine character.
Yeah. Well, you did great. I love your costume. So today we revamped the studio. It was always really girly, but I decided to do it really fucking spooky because it's spooky season and I'm excited. I kind of don't want to change it. I kind of want to leave it like this.
This is every day.
I kind of want to start Dracula now.
Seriously.
But yeah, it took me a while. Thank you, 99 cents star. You were great. So Sheila, I know you're a gay ass bitch, obviously. Why do you enjoy the holiday Halloween?
I think it's a time to like be creative and show like art and like also queer expression as well. Like it's like it's the night where like you could dress up as anything your mind creates, your imagination, or what you've always longed to be outside of like the norm.
Yeah,
because we get so like I said, I was jaded. You get so jaded living everyday life, doing the same shit, different fucking day. And it's like, this is the one night to let loose. And it's like, just fucking be your fucking creepy ass self. Let your freak flag fucking fly.
Yeah.
Fucking do that shit.
Hell yeah.
When are you going to see Michael Myers twerk ever again?
I think that's why, like, I love when Halloween comes because I could like dress up as a woman if I want to. I could dress up as a man. Maybe I can dress up as both.
Yeah, like there's no rules.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking look spooky, bitch.
Exactly. I think that's it for this Halloween. I was like, I know I'm gonna be like a man kind of, but I want a really long wig.
Yeah.
So I want to feel my feminine side too. So I'm pretty excited.
Duality.
Yes. Alrighty, so let's take our pre-show shot because I want to get drunk for this episode because I'm really excited. I know you're really excited for this too.
I'm so excited.
I love Halloween. I'm really sad I'm not gonna be here for Halloween. I'm gonna be in Mexico.
I think that's like the perfect place to spend Halloween. Like I feel like if you could like go somewhere else for Halloween, like good on you. Like, cause like who knows what kind of energy lies around. Like if this is all day, every day, you're always in California, Halloween.
Yeah.
It's like same shit, different day too. Go somewhere else, see what like the vibe is.
Yeah. Oh my God. Do you think the spirits will come out in Mexico?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Because I feel like people out there believe in that kind of stuff way more. Like I feel like America's like, oh no, stuff like that don't exist. It's not real.
Crazy
It's not
shit
real.
happens over there.
Exactly.
I've seen like YouTube videos of like they like caught witches flying and shit.
Yeah, I believe
I
it.
hope we see a witch.
Like I feel like witch activity out there is like even more like superior and powerful.
Yeah.
Compared to white bitches out here.
The witches got culture over there. Alrighty, so let's take our shot. Cheers.
Cheers. Here's to death.
Oh, Lord. Mm-hmm.
It's great.
I'm over here dying and shit.
No chaser.
Again? Okay. Fucking grandpa's over here. We're dead. Anyways, alrighty. So as you guys heard in the intro, this is going to be a story time episode. All right, so it's going to be all about ghosts and demons. And what I did was I sent Sheila to find 2 stories, one about a ghost and one about a demon. And I found, right? A demon, sorry? Yeah, okay. I'm like, okay, I think I'm getting buzzed now. And I found 2 stories as well. So we're both going to share them, which I'm pretty excited. Kind of nervous. I'm kind of scared.
I'm so happy.
Alrighty, so we're both going to take turns telling our stories, and then we're going to read someone's story that someone sent on social media since, you know, these bitches didn't participate
They was
online.
asleep.
Fucking hating assholes.
They was dead.
I guess you're not in the spirit like we are. Hallelujah. Okay, lastly, we're going to listen to some EVPs. I told Raul, me and Raul, we're fucking around today, and I was like, PMS. I was like, what do you call it, PMS? He's like, no, they're called EVPs, you idiot.
I have PMS on my face right now.
Alrighty, so lastly, we're gonna listen to the EVPs because why the fuck not? So gather around the campfire, bitch. The story's about to start. Raul, can you please cue the lights, please? Chinga su madre. What is going on? Are we possessed?
Yes.
I am possessed! Thank God I have a nun here, though. Okay, so the first story is called The Unrest Stop. When I read this story, I was thinking about Jeepers Creepers, which that movie scares the fuck out of me. Alrighty, so the unrest. So I found this story on an article titled 11 of the Scariest Ghost Stories from Reddit. Reddit has really good stories.
Oh, yeah, I love Reddit.
And it was submitted by a man named Ryan Blitz Patrick. He writes, I was driving across the country with my mom and sister. I was 16, my sister 20, my mom in her 50s. It was late, but we were well rested and still alert. We were driving along an interstate and needed gas, and they needed to pee, obviously. So we stopped at the only rest stop in approximately 200 miles. 200 miles? I want to go on a fucking road trip, but I get scared of that shit.
Yeah, no, I totally feel, but I still want to go.
I still want to counter some shit. Okay, so at the rest stop, there was a van. Yes, oh my God, I'm ruining it. Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, so at the stop. You're supposed to be scary. You're not supposed to be sus. Oh my God, I'm gonna stop. Okay. Ay, chinga su madre. Sister Mary Kuntz, can you relax? Okay, so at the rest stop, there was a van full of teenagers on some road trip and a small gray compact car, like a Honda Accord or, you know, some shit. Parked at the pump in front of us, 2 men about 17 to 20 years old were standing outside a Honda in hoodies, like statues, really, really still. And the teenagers were to our left. When we got there, everything felt wrong. There was a deep, unsettling feeling about the place, and we had not felt that way at any other rest stop. We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night and had never been afraid until then. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed in the car. I heard the teenagers say that they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work, and they left in a hurry. I was mostly watching the car in front and the two men who had still not moved at all, not an inch. They weren't talking. Bitch, fuck that shit. They weren't on phones. They were just fucking standing there, still as stone, and there was no light anywhere but the dim overhead lights on the gas station awning. Oh my God. My sister and mom came running back out to the car, and when they got in, the two men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies. And I swear to fucking shit, we all saw the same thing. They had eyes pitch black, dark, and empty. Truly empty. Not even black. Not reflecting any light at all. Just a fucking void. We booked. We really booked it. We never traveled faster than 100 miles before, but fuck it, that day it was warranted. We drove until we were in the next city before we got out of the car again. And you know the worst fucking thing about it all? No, not the eyes, not the stillness, not that horrible feeling, not the weirdo in the gas station who kept telling my mom and sister, my mama will like you, over and over while mopping the same spot on the floor with a dry mop and an empty bucket. It was the fact that we couldn't find the rest stop on any map. We knew exactly which spot on the interstate to look, and we couldn't fucking find it on Google Maps or any paper map we had. We even asked locals about the creepy gas station out on that stretch of road, and they gave us confused looks and said, "Are you sure you weren't traveling on the highway and not the interstate?" We traveled on that interstate again since then, and to our surprise, there was no rest stop. Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. I like that one. And
that's fucking crazy.
I've heard stories like that where people find like towns or specific places, and then they're not there anymore.
That's fucking weird.
And then locals look at them like weird, like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, like, bitch, what did you smoke?
Like, what?
That's crazy.
I've even heard hotels too.
Like they went to a hotel and it doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's scary. No, ma'am. Yeah. What did you think of the story?
I loved it. That for ones that like disappeared, that's a top one for me.
Huh.
I love it. Especially like the dudes just like staring. Like that's just like the more suspense to it.
It's fucking weird. And then like no eyes or nothing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say that's me at work with my mop.
You're like, I'm that bitch behind the counter. You want to go ahead and tell your story?
Yeah.
I'm very excited to hear this. You need to spook me. Spooky ookie.
Okay, this is a personal favorite of mine. It's a Japanese folklore, and my daughter's actually going to be this folklore for Halloween. I'm actually super excited about that.
Okay.
In English, you would call her like the 8-foot tall woman, and in Japanese, she's the Hachi Saku Sama. Correct. So here we go. The tale of the 8-foot tall woman. My grandparents live in a small village in Japan. Every summer, my parents would take me there on holiday to visit them. The last time I saw them was the summer when I was 8 years old. My grandparents were inside the house and I was playing by myself outside in the backyard. I heard a strange sound like pow, 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 pow. I don't know what it was and was hard to figure out where it was coming from. I was looking around, searching for the source of the noise when I noticed something on top of the tall hedges that enclosed the backyard. It was a straw hat. It wasn't resting on the hedge. It was behind it. That's where the sound was coming from. Then the hat began to move. It stopped at the small gap of the hedge. I could see a face peering through. It was a woman. But the hedges were high, almost 8 feet tall. I was surprised how tall the woman was. I wondered if she was wearing stilts, or some sort of huge high heel shoes. Then a split second later, she walked off, and the strange noise disappeared with her, fading into the distance. Confused, I got up and ran into the house. My grandparents were in the kitchen, drinking tea. I sat down at the table and I told my grandparents what I had seen. They weren't really paying attention to me until I mentioned the distinctive sound. They both froze. My grandma's eyes grew wide. She covered her mouth with her hand. Grandpa's face became very serious, and he grabbed me by the arm. "This is very important," he said, with intensity. "How tall was she?" he asked. "As tall as the garden hedge," I said with a shaky voice. "Where was she standing when this happened? What did you do? Did she see you?" I tried to answer all his questions as best as I could. He rushed out the hallway and made a phone call. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but after he hung up and walked out the door, "Grandma, what's going on?" I said. "There's something dangerous abducting children in the area," she said. "We call it Hachisaku-sama. It takes on the appearance of an extremely tall woman and says, 'Pow, pow, oh,' in a deep voice. A long time ago, it was captured by monks, and they managed to confine it in a ruined building on the outskirts of the village. They trapped it using statues, and they placed it at the north, east, and west of the ruins so that it could not escape. But somehow, it did last time. It appeared was 15 years ago. My grandmother said anyone who saw it was destined to die within a few days." Sounds so crazy. I wasn't sure what to believe. Just then, my grandpa came back with an old woman who called herself Kaisan. They took me upstairs to the bedroom and began covering the windows with newspaper and ancient runes written all over them. The Kaisan placed small bowls of salt in all four corners of the room and a small Buddha figure in the center. Soon the sun will be setting, so listen carefully. You must stay in this room until 7:30 tomorrow morning. Do not open this door for any reason. She placed the bucket in my hands. Not even use the restroom. My grandparents and the Kaisan left the room and I locked the door after them. I couldn't believe what was happening. Was I really going to die in a few days? I turned on the TV to try to take my mind off of everything. Eventually I fell asleep. I awakened around 1 a.m. by a tapping. The sound on the window. Tung, tung, tung. It was probably just a tree or something, I told myself. Then came a knock on my door. I heard my grandpa's voice. "Are you in there? If you're scared, I could come and keep you company." Hearing his voice, it was such a relief. Without thinking, I rushed over to the door, but something didn't feel right. I looked at the bowl of salt in the room and all four of them had turned black. Then I heard the sound again. The tapping on the window continued. I knelt in front of the Buddha and began to pray. I was so terrified and caught up in my chanting that I didn't realize sounds had stopped. I checked my watch and it was 7:30 a.m. Carefully, I opened the door and ran to my grandparents. We all got in the van and headed straight for the airport. Apparently, there were others who had to escape the grasp of Hachisaku-sama, as long as they never stepped foot in Japan again. So 2 years ago, when my grandpa got sick, he refused to let me visit him. He left strict instructions in his will to not let me attend his funeral. He couldn't believe that this was the creature that prevented me from saying goodbye. So when my grandma called a few days ago to tell me that she had been diagnosed with cancer, I wasn't going to let her stop me from visiting. It's been 10 years and my grandma, and nothing has happened to me. We don't even know if this thing is real. I'm not going to let me stop it from seeing you. I say to my grandma. "If you say so, my dear," my grandma says. "I love you, Grandma. I'll see you soon." She hears the sound through the cell phone, which made her eyes wide in fear.
Ay, ay, ay. That was a good story.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh my God, that's so creepy. And that's crazy because you want to think it's in Japan. Oh my God. Oh, that was good. That was really, really good. Roll. Cue the lights for the next stories. Baby, we in hell now. You ain't going back home.
Can we take another shot?
Oh, fuck Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Might as well.
If I died, I'm just kidding. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. With these nails. Okay. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Santa Maria.
So much lemon seeds.
Alrighty. So now I'm going to go ahead and tell my demon story. So Raul found this story and he was pretty scared. So I'm kind of nervous. Ay, Santa Maria. Okay, but let's do this. Alrighty, so this next story comes from Reddit as well, from the user Nicolette750 in the Scary Stories subreddit, where someone asked, "What's your scary demon story?" Nicolette750 writes, "I lived with demons and I can see them. I'll explain, but it's a long story." I live with demons too, but whatever. We're not going to talk about that. Okay. So my ex's stepmom was on a supernatural team and they were cleansing houses. One day, demons threatened her because she wouldn't stop. And they said they'd come after her family. Despite their threats, she did one more cleansing. Later, one day, her granddaughter, who didn't know how to read or write or anything yet, brought her a paper where she drew 3 consecutive 6s. Fuck that. On the same day, my ex, who was a major Christian, denounced his religion and gave his Bible to his stepmom. Oy, no, Santa Maria. Fast forward about a month or two later, he started using all sorts of drugs and got his hands on a satanic Bible. He then decided to write a letter denouncing Christianity and that he will not follow God. And he signed it with his blood and burnt it over a black candle while reading this satanic Bible. Fast forward to when I moved in with him, which was a few months later, he started becoming furious at the littlest things, like a bad dream or ran out of drugs. He would beat the dog. He would beat me. He'd even scream at his sister and mother. And every time he got mad, it ended with him saying, "Make them stop," referring to the voices in his head. He would often punch himself in the head until he bled and broke his hand, doing that numerous times. He even used a brick once. His stepmom and dad were constantly telling him to go over so they could pray over him, but any talk of religion bothered him and he didn't even know why. One day, I brought up religion and he got furious. And that day, we had the worst luck. Everything around us was breaking. I brought religion on another day and he finally listened. When I was doing research to make sure my ex didn't have a mental illness, this one portion stuck out saying, "If they fall asleep or get tired when you talk about religion," oh my God, I'm getting chills, "they have demonic oppression." I didn't even know that was a fucking thing. The step before possession. I tried talking about religion again without telling him what I researched, and I kid you not, he almost fell asleep mid-sentence twice. Then I told him what I learned. We shortly started hearing footsteps around the house and creaking constantly upstairs when no one else was home. All of my cross necklaces broke within a week. We even made matching bracelets and even engraved Bible verses into them. His broke within 5 minutes. We fixed it, but it broke again a few minutes later. He then bought a Christian Bible, brought a crucifix from when he was younger and hung that above our bed and kept the Bible with him. He lost it every now and then and eventually stopped taking it with him. He took the crucifix off the wall and that's when he started getting mad again. One time he was angry. He didn't punch himself, but he was hitting everything else in the room. Only this time, his pupils had completely changed shape. I ran out of the room as fast as I could. No. Oh my God. Later, I started seeing shadows behind me again. Everywhere I looked, shadows were near us. Just the outline of a person. One day, we had a really big fight, and when I came home from work, he got up from laying on the couch. He might have gotten up, but what I saw under him is forever ingrained into my memory. It looked like how you would imagine an aura would look. Only this was blacker than anything I have seen before, and it instilled such terror in me, I couldn't speak. I knew it saw me see it, and my ex couldn't see it at all. I've seen it multiple times throughout the years and have yet to identify what it is. I found someone who did some research on them and had similar experiences. They said there are tons of shadow people, and real life dementors out there. Oh, I really got the chills. That shit is scary.
Yes, it's scary.
Fuck that shit. I'm gonna pray before I go to sleep because Jesus.
I used to fall asleep throughout all of church. I was never awake at church. From the moment we walked in, I was like.
Also, there's a story too that my mom said that my Nina, she went to Mexico because her husband got deported, and she went over with him, but her son was over there. Her son was a hardcore drug addict. Hardcore. And my Nina said that they took him to like a curandera, like a kind of witchcraft kind of thing. And they said that when they were doing witchcraft on him, this really black smoke came out of his mouth.
I've heard of.
And it came out of his mouth. And after that, he said he's felt better and he's doing so much good.
Good.
Like, do you really believe that there's like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That's fucking crazy. That explains all the crackheads on my street.
It's rough.
It is rough. But anyways, so you want to go ahead and tell your story?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's go. Let me adjust myself because my leg is falling asleep.
Okay.
I'm falling asleep. Am I possessed? I think I am because I'm gay. You know, because gays go to hell.
We all do. It's fun down there.
Sorry, but I already reserved a seat for you.
Okay. This is about the possession of Michael Taylor. Okay. Michael Taylor, 31 years old, father of 5 children, husband to Christine Taylor. It was 1974. Michael was living what appeared to be an idyllic life. The Taylor family lived in a small home in Ossett, West Yorkshire. Neighbors described Michael as a mild-mannered and generally kind. Occasionally, Michael Taylor would suffer from depressive episodes. He would become withdrawn, refuse to interact with family and friends. Nevertheless, Michael was, by all accounts, a caring father and husband. The Taylor family was not devout. They lived a few miles of multiple churches, but never really found the time to attend. In a highly religious town like Ossett, this behavior just wouldn't stand. A friend of Michael's, who had decided his depression was caused by spiritual forces, convinced him to start attending a weekly prayer meeting. The group was run by one Marie Robinson. Her soft-spoken form of old-time religion seemed to appeal to Michael. At least that's what everyone thought in the beginning. As time went on, Michael began spending a ludicrous amount of time with Marie. At first, he just threw himself into the prayer group, going to every meeting and all the functions they had. He quickly fell deeper in Marie's teachings and attending meetings where group members were exorcised and the demons were cast out with what they called the power of God. Marie began offering private meetings to Michael. During these meetings, Michael and Marie would sit across from each other and make a sign of the cross over and over, sometimes 8+ hours. It was clear that Michael had fallen head over heels in love with Marie. His time away at church and private prayer meetings were starting to be noticed by his wife. When he wasn't around Marie, he would become withdrawn, slipping into deep depressions. He had become sullen and argumentative and lash out at his family. Christine had the suspicion that the prayer group wasn't doing Michael any favors and that his private meetings with Marie, obviously it's not It's not just a prayer meeting. Let's see. During the next prayer meeting they attend, Christine openly confronted Michael about his time with Marie. Something broke inside of Michael Taylor. He stood up, and instead of addressing his wife, he began to attack Marie, both verbally and physically. He was still shouting at her in tongues when the rest of the congregation restrained him. Later, Marie would have this to say. I suddenly glanced at Mike, and his whole features changed. He looked almost beastie. He kept looking at me, and there was really a wild look in his eyes. He started screaming. I started screaming at him out of fear. I started speaking in tongues. Mike also screamed at me in tongues. I was on the verge of death, and I seemed to come to my senses. I knew only the name of Jesus would save me. I started saying over and over and over again, Jesus. When Christine heard me calling the name of Jesus, she started saying it too. I believe firmly that I was only by calling out his name that I was not killed. Michael claimed he had no memory of this happening. At the next meeting, Michael would sit and receive full absolution from Marie. Still, his outbursts had not gone unrecognized. People were talking, and none of it was good. A group of ministers declared that Michael was currently suffering from demonic possession and would need an exorcism. October 5th, 1974, Father Peter Vincent and Reverend Raymond Smith met Michael at St. Thomas's Church in Gabar. Over the next 8 hours, they would perform a sacred rite of exorcism. Michael began thrashing, convulsing, spitting, had to be tied to the floor of the church. A crucifix was jammed into his mouth, and he was completely soaked in holy water. At 8 a.m., October 6th, the priests couldn't continue. They were exhausted by their administration, had cast out more than 40 demons from Michael. The priest said the exorcism would have been finished at a later date and advised Michael not to worry. They only had left but 3 demons to be exorcised: murder, madness, and violence. Michael and Christine were told to go home and prepare for part 2 of the exorcism. At 9:45, just an hour and 45 minutes after the exorcism, police patrolling the area where the Taylors had lived discovered a gruesome sight. A man shambling through the streets completely naked and covered in blood. It was of course no other than Michael Taylor. The officer had found Taylor rushed to his home, only to find more police officers were already there. Neighbors had heard noises. The police were called. The officer approached the house and was waved off by an exciting criminal inspector. You don't want to see this one, son. I've seen nothing like it before. I've seen a few. It's the wife. It's a right mess in there. There's not much of her left. You don't want to see it, eh? After this, he doubled over and vomited in the yard. Upon entering the house, officers were met with someone who would later call at the worst crime scene they've ever worked. Michael had brutally attacked Christine, removing her eyes, tongue, and before ripping her face off and her skull, he strangled the family dog. After the dog was dead, he ripped out the eyes and tore it limb from limb, throwing them around the house. The house was covered wall to ceiling in blood. Michael, who was at the time receiving care in a nearby hospital, was arrested. He never provided a motive for killing Christine. Released. I am released. It is done. The evil in her has been destroyed. So what happened? Was Michael Taylor possessed? The defense didn't think so. He laid the blame squarely at the feet of the prayer group and the priest who did the exorcism. He stated that the group exaggerated an already cracking mind. He cast doubt on possession theory, calling it neurotics, feeding neurosis to a neurotic. At the trial, Michael was acquitted by a reason of insanity. He received psychiatric care for 4 years before being released back into the public.
Wow. Oh, that's crazy. That's so crazy because now you think about people who like act out like that and like
the devil made me do it.
Yeah, no, seriously. That's fucking crazy. That's
like
a good story.
8 long hours of session, and he had like 40 demons in him. Could you only imagine like maybe those 8-hour sessions were probably her
demons? Like Jesus Christ. So what do you think is the difference between a ghost and a demon?
Well, I mean, clearly, like, if we're talking about like how everybody else in the world views it, it's definitely like a ghost is obviously somebody who has passed and this is their spirit that is lingering. A demon is a malevolent fucking force from fucking hell that could take on all sorts of forms. Yeah. But I was raised in a religion to where I was supposed to believe like it's all the same. Like if it's aliens, if it's fucking ghost, if it's a fucking monster, if it's a fucking skinwalker, if it's the Loch Ness monster, no matter what the fuck it is, it's a demon.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, no, I really believe like there is ghosts and there is demons. And I do believe not ghosts. I do believe demons do like to take on the form of other things and like to play off as a ghost of a loved one. Like absolutely, they're all about mischievous trickery. But I do believe there are good spirits out there that are genuinely ghosts that need to like do something before moving on to the other side.
Yeah. Also, a question I had for you was, do you think, which I always think was interesting, do you think these demons ever had human like feelings, like they were people before they were demons? Like, do you think they were good before they were evil? Like there has to be something, or they were just pure evil from the beginning? I think
just pure evil from the beginning, to be honest. Because like if there's angels, like obviously that's all they are. They're fallen angels.
Yeah.
So like they were probably like good angels at one point, but like obviously they're fallen angels.
So do you think like, well, just because recently I started watching the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing and people say he was a demon and stuff, which was weird to me because I don't like to glamorize like serial killers because obviously it's not a good thing. But when I was watching the whole show, like people refer to him as he's the devil, he's evil, he's this and this, that. But it's like people get to that point. Like, you know, like there has to be something in there that was a human at one point.
You know, Jeff Dahmer is absolutely 100% human, but like I wouldn't be surprised if there was like demonic influence in that. Because like obviously like he was alone. He was like obviously, I mean, when you're alone, you're clearly depressed, and that's like a huge thing. What demons like cling on to? They cling on to like that depressive negative energy, and they become a heavy force on that. It's like that's just like their gateway in.
Yeah, that's crazy because that's what I was telling Ingrid is that when I moved out with my parents, we moved out to a new home. Well, it wasn't like an apartment kind of, and I was telling Ingrid, I was like, do you think demons like get attached to people who are very vulnerable? Because when we moved out, it was like this one night, it was like 10 or 11 at night. I had got up and there was this little hallway and I went to the kitchen and I got like cereal something. When I was coming back and I was going back to my room, something stopped me. Like midway stopped me. Like I felt something go poof, like I jolted back. And then after that, like I just went into my room. I was like, I'm not gonna acknowledge this. Like, I don't want to do this. And I went into my room and I told my mom, and my mom's like, no, like, I don't think so. But I felt it. And I was like, dude, that's fucking crazy.
And that's the thing. You were in an apartment, correct?
Yeah.
My manager had told me a story because she like moved into an apartment, and typically apartments are actually supposed to do cleansings before somebody else moves in.
Yeah.
And I guess I guess sometimes they don't. And that's what happened in her case. Like they didn't cleanse it before she moved in. And she was seeing like a little girl ghost. So she had a little girl at the time. Her daughter was young around this time. She was like 4. And she saw just somebody like walk into the kitchen, and she was like, oh, is that Gwen? And she's like, Vincent, did Gwen go over there? And he's like, no, Mom, Gwen's playing in the patio right now. And then her son, he's a pretty practical dude. He's so practical. He doesn't believe in stuff like that. And like she sees him like peek out, look at her. She was like in the living room watching TV, and she's like, what's my son doing? Like what was going on? And he's just like kind of observing, looking around. And then he goes into her room. And he's looking, he's like, hey Mom, did you see Gwen? Like I saw her run into your room and then she disappeared. And she's like, Gwen's playing in the patio.
Oh my God.
So she told her mom like what happened, and her mom got a hold of some like religious woman, and she's like, "Hey, do you think you could like, cleanse
the
apartment for us because we're seeing like this little girl." And after that, nothing after that.
Hell to the no. I don't mess with that shit. Fuck that.
For me, I think it's just sage. I think sage always does the trick. Sage
100%.
Smudging. And I think also you need to cleanse yourself. And I feel like sometimes you need and a huge way like humans like cleanse is through water. Like I obviously that's why religion baptized people. Like water is a healing kind of element.
I think it has to do with energy too.
Yeah.
It's the way you go through life.
And that's the thing with religion. I feel like they take some of the same things witches do because we use things like moon water for cleansings and feel more purified. I feel like holy water is honestly just moon water and they don't want to fucking admit it.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Okay, so we're going to take, I lost count of the shots. I'm having so much fun. I don't even. 3. It's because I'm drinking with the nuns, so it's not that bad. I swallowed a seed. I usually love to swallow seeds, but that seed was not swallowable, if that makes sense. That seed was not swallowed. Sheila's like, can't relate. Anyways. Alrighty. So I asked you guys to send some of your personal ghost stories, and only one person sent us one. Bitches.
Y'all were dead.
Yeah, y'all bitches dead as fuck. So we're gonna read it. I'm gonna read it right now. So this story comes from Arturo. Bro, can you stop slurping like a whore that you are? He's over there sucking Satan's dick. Anyways. So this story comes from Arturo. Lord have mercy. Is Hurricane Iana here? Hurricane Ariana. Arianga. Okay, can I tell my story now? Jesus Christ. I love it. All right. You ate that. All right. So this comes from Arturo Islava from Instagram. And he says, "Oh my God, I have a story for you about ghosts. I was staying at my mom's for the weekend and was sleeping in the couch when I heard something. I look up and see a dead tia, which is aunt for you white bitches that don't know, that died in the house. Walking down the hallway towards my little sister's room. I had smoked a joint that night, so my pendejo ass thought I was just high. So I get up, close my eyes, and open them again. He probably was like, bitch, this weed is hitting good. Raul, you can relate. Nope, my tia was still there. Era una buena persona, so I wasn't too scared, but fuck me, the woman is dead for fuck's sake. Me dio un buen susto. Oh my God. I believe in that. Like that your family members come back to life to come try to like, especially in dreams, no?
I actually had a family member incident.
Really?
Yeah, I'll let you know the tea. My uncle freshly died. He died in our house. We did a hospice. Mm-hmm. We had him in the kitchen. He was dying. My parents are usually the responsible folks of the family on both of their sides. So, like they take on these kind of burdens and all that, which they don't mind because, of course, like family. Moving fast forward, I was in my parents' like room in the dark, and they have a restroom. Mm-hmm. My back was turned against where the restroom was, and I remember I was arguing on the phone with my ain't shit baby daddy, and like we were getting into it, and I was just really annoyed. I was frustrated, and then like I'm thinking my dad's coming out the restroom. And I hear him laugh like, I'm like, I turn around. I'm like, Dad, what the fuck's funny? Like I feel like he was like eavesdropping on the conversation. Like, obviously I'm frustrated and I'm pissed. I'm like, what's funny? Yeah. And I turn around. There was nothing there.
Oh shit.
And I told my brother, I was like, Chris, I swear I heard somebody fucking laugh behind me. God. And at the time we had like this blue digital camera by Kodak. And he's like, bitch, let me get the camera. He's like, this ain't my first time at the rodeo. I always do this shit. And he had it on the flash. He took a picture, and right where I heard the laugh, there was a shadow silhouette. I wish I kept that picture. I fucking wish I kept it, but that shit freaked me out so much. I was like, I'm deleting it. I should have, but it was a silhouette right where I heard the laugh at. Now, here's the funny thing. I thought it was my dad. My uncle who died, his name is Anthony Joseph. Mm-hmm. Now, my dad, his name is Joseph Anthony.
Oh, my Lord. They just reversed that shit.
Yeah, no, they're not even brothers. So this was my mom's brother.
Oh.
Yeah, so like it was just crazy. But like they had similar characteristics. They were pretty similar in some ways. But yeah, that was a big trip. That was like the first like ever like paranormal I've ever encountered. My brother, he always experienced it. My family has always experienced it, but that was like my first authentic paranormal moment.
My God, we need to bring him on. That would be so interesting to hear his stories.
He has some scares.
I love that. You know what's weird? I get more scared with like demonic possessions and stuff, but when it comes to like
I've seen my brother possessed.
Oh, yeah?
I've seen him possessed. That's scary. His eyes rolled back and everything. But you know what triggered him out of it?
It's like, oh, fuck that. I'm out, bitch.
But you know what actually triggered him out of it? This was hilarious. Like, I was so scared. I was like, I'm going to tell mom. And then he came back to normal.
Wow. Oh, it's because he's gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a demon.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to hell. Mm-hmm. He saved me a seat right in the front. Wow. That's crazy. So now we're going to go through the PMSs. I'm just kidding. I have to say that. Through the EVMs. Is it
EVPs? EVMs.
Okay.
EVE.
Damn, I'm trying to rap. Okay. So now for the next segment, we're going to listen to some EVPs. Sheila, do you know what an EVP is? Not a PMS, because I know you know that, boo.
Yeah, I do. I've actually fucked around with some EVP. EVPs.
She's falling into the trap too. She's like EMP. Eminem. I fell into Eminem.
But no, I fucked around with EVPs. You can even download EVP apps on your phone, and I found a really good one.
I'm too scared.
I actually used it at RCC. Riverside Community College, and the Zodiac killer actually, if I'm not mistaken, is either the Zodiac killer or Ted Bundy actually killed a victim there, and they died on Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. Halloween, October 31st.
Oh my God!
And I got some activity there. I really did. You know, and at first, I wasn't getting shit. I was ghost hunting that night. Like I told my friend, I was like, "Hey, let's go ghost hunting." Like, why the fuck not? I have time to fucking do. I was looking at like urban legends around Fontana. I wasn't getting anything. I was like, okay, let's go to Riverside. Let's go to RCC because obviously that's where the Zodiac killer was. And I was using the app, and we were really not getting anything. Then finally, I parked at a specific area, and I actually parked in a disabled spot. Now that's key to the story. And I also ordered Bakers, so we were just sitting eating Bakers, just like talking. And all of a sudden, like I felt like a ghost R demon hit my forehead, like you need a V8, bitch.
Oh my
and
Lord.
Like it was right after that, like activity started happening, and it's
I know.
Yeah,
no,
it started saying things because like also the app will translate what it's saying. Like you would hear noise like, and it would show like words. And then it said something like a man. And I was like, we looked, there was like portables. And we looked and there was a man right there, like a security guard. And he was in the portables. I was like, okay, maybe that's just a coincidence. Like let's not get too deep into it. And it said hurt. I was like, ooh, you want to hurt me? What's going on?
No,
but what really like tipped it off for me, I was parked in a disabled spot. It said paralyzed. Paralyzed. Usually people who are disabled are paralyzed. They use wheelchairs. And I was like, all right, we need to get the fuck out of here. And right after that, it started making a sound like it started going off after that. I was like, oh, we need to drive out. And I left. I was like, not today.
I was like, we seen enough.
All right, I got what I wanted. I need to go.
Hell no, I give you credit because I would never do that shit. You know what? I watch paranormal people do the whole show thing, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. But I'm like, no.
I feel like I could do it. I remember.
I'll tell that now.
I remember when I was younger, I was like, oh, I could never put like over time, I'm just like, fuck it.
I wanted to stay at the Queen Mary because I heard there's a lot of activity.
Yeah.
And at that hotel in LA. That hotel in LA.
The Cecil.
Yes. Yeah. Hotel Cecil. I don't know. I'm too chickeny.
I feel like I can't do Cecil, but I do want to do the one in San Diego, like the Hotel Calderon or something like that. Calderon. I don't know.
Ingrid's like, fuck you.
She's like, nah, you can go by yourself, baby.
Bye. You're going by yourself. Baby, these titties are staying in place here. They're not moving. So this first EVP comes from a Reddit user named Muminizo. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. And they write, this recording was made in my bedroom at night using my cell phone camera and a radio with no noise suppression, which I used as a background to possibly assist anyone who could be attempting to share their messages. So I had asked if there was anyone else present in this room, and almost immediately I received this sound. I apologize for the poor quality and dubious nature of the recording and have made clear once since then. I don't know if I want to listen. Do you want to listen?
I want to listen.
What the fuck was that in the church music? Holy Lord. Okay, don't put it too loud though, bro. Seriously.
These motherfuckers ain't stopping me.
Yeah,
these motherfuckers
excited.
Ain't stopping.
I love Halloween, but okay. Hold on, I need a minute.
I'm ready.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like full ass beaner, like paisa Mexican. I don't fuck with that shit. I have a good ass life. I live beyond my means, but I have a good ass life, okay? Anyways, so, let's just do this. Fuck it. Whatever.
That shit.
Okay. That's God telling us not to do it.
God?
Is that you?
It's definitely something.
No. He's saying something about hell. We are in hell. We were in hell. We were in hell. I know. Where was he at?
It's saying, yes.
That shit is creepy. That shit's like freaking me out. I thought I heard in hell. In hell. Look, play it again.
Yeah, play it.
It sounds.
Yeah, I hear him, man.
In hell. Like in hell. And I'm in hell. Oy. So the second EVP comes from a Reddit user named Lynn'sShorty35. They said they recorded this in their sleep. Let's hear it. Oh my God, stop. I'm not going to want to sleep. I need more shots.
I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight, just like in church.
Ooh. She said, bitch, I'm possessed. All right. So, okay. So the second EVP comes from this Reddit user named Lindsay. Oh, I did? Okay. So let's hear it in their sleep. Let's hear it. Ay, no quiero. Hold on my legs. Falling asleep. And here. And then stop. I can't do that.
That's Beyonce's new song. In hell. In hell.
That's a bop. And here.
In hell. No,
pobrecito. Stop. He's lost. He's probably lost. He doesn't want to be in hell.
We don't do that.
We respect the dead.
Yeah, we do.
He doesn't want to be in hell.
Play it again.
That sounds like a fucking demon.
So you hear her snoring, but
oh, okay.
You can hear her breathing, but between that you can hear something.
Okay, go.
Girl.
Ooh, fuck that.
What do you think was said though?
I can't really hear what she's saying.
Because you hear the snoring and yeah, you hear something touch.
It sounds like a demon, like Like they're like when you hear a bull, like when you hear a bull when the bull goes. So this third EVP comes from the Reddit user Digital Magpie. He writes, EVP caught at an abandoned factory. Lord have mercy. What are you doing with your life? In Eaton, am I saying that right? Eaton Rapids, Michigan in 2016. There were only 2 of us there, and this isn't either of our voices. Can anyone figure out what she said? Sorry about the traffic. It's near a fairly busy road. I've cleaned it up as best as I can, but I'm not an expert. I am fucking nervous. This shit's like creeping me out now. So can I watch Hocus Pocus? Go again? Let's take a clacking. Like,
No, but you can hear the thing whisper.
Like, let's
no,
get
that's
out.
the people. That's the people.
They said that's not the whisper.
Oh, that's not them?
It sounds like let's get out.
Oh my God, that's a different perspective. Okay, put it on now. Do it one more time. Let's get something. It doesn't say let's get out.
Or let's get a house.
Let's get aroused.
Let's get a house.
Let's get out of this house.
Yeah. Something like that. Or let's get the house.
Oy. Let's get the house.
Let's get the house.
Santa Maria. Okay, so we should have brought Sage because a bitch is like terrified here. Okay, so this is all we have.
I'm happy with it.
I honestly had so much fun.
Same.
This was the most funnest episode I've ever done.
I have to agree.
Yeah, even though we did some scary shit, this was fun. I like this because I was having a conversation with you and we were all moving around, but it's really sad because there's like these people who pass away who aren't happy with their life and they're still here on earth, you know? And sometimes it's like people think of it like, oh my God, I'm having these scary occurrences, but it's like, no, it's like people, what if these spirits are fucking trying to reach out to us and tell us that they're lost? It's sad.
Yeah.
It's really fucking sad and it breaks my heart, but you know, we hear you. That's the best we could do. No, I'm not laughing at it, but but no, we don't condone any brujeria, any witchcraft or anything unless, you know, you're doing something nice.
With good intentions.
Yeah, with good intention. But please don't do anything bad out there and leave these spirits alone. Don't call them. Let them rest.
Yeah.
If they want to walk around the damn earth, let them walk around the earth, but don't call to them.
Yeah.
Please don't. Leave them alone. Don't take out the Ouija board because you think it's cute because you saw it in the movie. No. When I was younger, we tried to make a Ouija board out of cardboard and I was like, no, ma'am. That's it. But I don't fuck with that shit. What do you think?
No, that's how demonic activities first started in my house ever was because my sister decided to make a Ouija board out of paper and shit.
Oh, hell no.
And that's what set it off.
That's what I think. Don't like fuck with that shit. I mean, people have fascinations about it.
I feel it's only people who really have practiced deeply in spirituality and like it's been in their family for generations that can handle that because they're professional and they know the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
But if you ain't that motherfucker, don't fucking touch that shit. Period.
No, seriously, don't. And people don't believe in it because they think it's just like fantasies, but
It's not.
But anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us on this very special episode. We love you guys. Thank you guys for coming on and bye. Ay, a la verga. That's it. Yay.